for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I know we've already had one episode this year, but this is my first time back at Dear Media 2023. I have an exciting co-host and an exciting guest. If you are watching, you already see who's in the room with me. Back on the Scheananigans mic, we've got Miss Jamie Lynne.
Hi, it's so good to be here. And
I know.
I have one question.
What?
Which is the seat that Stephen Coletti sits in?
Oh, that's a good question. It might be, honestly, I don't know, because you're in my normal seat. But we all know I've got a side. So when me and Brock co-host, or I have a co-host, I scoot over one seat, so I'm just on my side.
She and I have different good sides, so it works very well.
Works
for
perfectly.
This friendship.
Did you have to ask Brock what his good side was before you went further with the relationship?
I just told him both of his sides are good, but his good side was his right.
Okay, good.
So that person chiming in.
And if you don't recognize that voice already from So Bad, It's Good. It's Mr. Ryan Bailey.
Ooh, New Year's resolution is done. This was one of the be back on Scheananigans. So
Yes.
this is done. Lisa Rinna's gone. Everything's good. Everything.
We're gonna get into
and
that.
Clearly, you're not doing dry January.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, Ryan, I have to ask, did
Yeah.
you by chance catch my vlog today?
I didn't actually.
Well-
I came in coming in completely cold. What was the vlog about?
You got a little shout out in it.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be huge for my family. This is really exciting. No, I didn't know that.
I wish I had a screenshot to put up, and I thought about it after it already came out, but I show it's my Christmas vlog, and I show all of the Christmas presents, and I was like, comment below who remembers 2 Christmases ago when Ryan Bailey leaked Summer's name. Just a couple presents under the tree. Jesus. Do you guys remember a couple years ago when Ryan Bailey zoomed in on my Christmas presents and outed Summer's name?
You guys, just to refamiliarize, I'm sorry once again, like we did in the first episode, but how scary is it to get a text from Scheana over the holidays, and you wake up and you're at your parents' house, and all of a sudden, and Scheana, I don't text her, I'm very respectful, and then all of a sudden, hey, was just thinking about how you leaked my baby's name 2 years ago, and it's not the thing you want to see over the holidays,
But
Look how far we've come.
I know, that's the thing. Now it's a joke, honestly. I couldn't be more over it. I thought it was funny as I was panning over the presents this Christmas. I will always, but you know what? I will always think of you on Christmas now.
Because 10 years ago, when I started watching Vanderpump Rules, I never in a million years thought I would first be sitting across from Scheana at a certain point, and that I would leak her baby name at a certain point. None of these things, I didn't even know there was a baby in the future. So this was it's huge.
Yeah, I know. I never thought there would be a baby name to leak, but it happened, and then it was confirmed in my vlog, which so funny. In the recent move from San Diego to full-time Marina, I found that sticker that I was holding in the vlog that people screen grab. I did it to myself also.
Yeah. You left out a bunch of Da Vinci Code clues in all of your videos. So my thing was I got it from a Reddit. Somebody sent me a Reddit thing.
Yeah. Someone else
and somebody
said it
sent
before
me
you.
in a Vanderpump Rules group on Facebook, and so I was like. And I was so excited, because I had called it out first initially, and I'm not good at detective work. So I was so pleased with myself that I finally got something right, and then it was just a mess.
Well, Scheana has 2 friends, right? So I'm the calm one, and I'm just hey Ryan, or hey Batman,
and then,
you might want to take that down. And then Brett
was like, "You are scum. I guess you got to make your money." And I'm like, "What money am I making? There's no money being made." I was. Oh my God.
No, but let me tell you, I can also understand. I recently had a conversation where I was explaining to Brock's family, his cousins were just visiting from New Zealand, and I was explaining to them how Vanderpump Rules started and, the scandal that I was once involved in. And as I'm telling this story, I said, at the time I was 21 and make whatever excuse I want, whatever. But at the time, I said I didn't for 1 second think about when I did a public interview how that was going to make Brandy feel. I just thought, fuck this guy. He screwed me over. I need to tell my side. And I didn't even think of the ramifications that was going to cause this poor woman who was pregnant and got cheated on. I felt just so sick, you know? And so just recently, again, I was like, oh, this is probably how Ryan felt when it's like, because you didn't do it on.
That's exactly
you
how
didn't
I felt.
maliciously
Thank you.
do it. You
No,
know
I
what
didn't
I mean?
maliciously do it
That's
because-
the thing. You didn't think about how it was going to make me feel. It was just like,
not
yes,
at all.
I got this.
Not at all. And that is the weird thing
So
about
I
internet
understand.
culture. Yeah. But also legendary that you bring up the Brandy stuff. Like that is legend. That whole thing is so wild because you don't think about the hurt that people go through in reality
No.
series. You're begging for more pain to watch, and then you see these people and Brandy, like it's historical now. It's part of her story that kind of launched her on Beverly Hills and all of this stuff, and she's coming back around again really strong. But you don't think about the reality of that
know.
situation, even though it's a reality show.
Yeah, just so crazy how things come full circle. And then, you know, I'm hanging out with Brandy at BravoCon and we're trying to plan doing each other's podcasts. So
See, that would be, as a fan, that would be so awesome to hear.
That would
Yeah.
be iconic for her to come on here, or
Yeah.
vice versa, or both.
I want to do both.
yeah.
I've been begging Scheana for so long to come on my show because I need to get into, I want to get into her dating past.
Have you not done his show
no,
yet?
she has
it's-
to ask for
It's
whatever.
a
Oh, it's coming.
logistical
It's
thing,
logistical.
you know, but
And I want to
it's
ask her
coming.
about song lyrics because I
coming.
was like, I don't even need to touch Vanderpump. I don't even need to touch
Are
that.
you could do a whole episode on Good as Gold.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, do you remember the studio?
you know
what
what
do these
happened
lyrics
with
mean?
Pandora's
yeah.
Box?
Yeah. What are the songs on the cutting room floor? I need all of it.
Okay, well, we will get into that soon on your podcast. I've
Yes.
already sent the request in.
I'm
so.
sure they'll.
Okay, so you were at BravoCon. I didn't realize that you were there.
Yeah.
I have so many BravoCon questions. I only recently watched it on the video on demand on Bravo because I've been kind of like a hermit the past few months, but I'm like, I should really catch up on what my friend has been doing. So I recently watched like all the BravoCon episodes.
It was so
Did you watch
fun.
the Watch What Happens Live where she did Good as Gold and she
Yes,
killed it?
and that
Like,
is my question. These are my questions.
Yeah.
Why? First of all, okay, 2 questions. Was Lala pissed that she wasn't asked to sing a song? Because she has an amazing voice as well.
They have a good duet.
True.
Oh my God, why didn't we do Like a Boss?
It's a great minute and a half song. It would have fit in immediately.
Yes. And second, why? I forget who it was, but why were some people allowed to lip? Oh, Melissa Gorga.
It was-
Why did she lip sync, but no one else
So,
did?
One, no, I don't think Lala was upset because she's performed, you know, a few times like on the show and stuff, but she's never really pursued that hardcore. She's much more into her brands and her actual business. Music was always just a fun side hobby. So I don't think she was offended they didn't ask her. And then second, we were given the choice. We could sing live, sing over the track.
okay.
If you got the goods, you're going to do it live. Like,
I don't really. I said I'll do it live, but I'm doing the rap part. Okay, I'm not trying to sing. Nope. Not after the night we had the night before. I was just like, no, we're not singing. But so I did the rap part. But I remember that morning. I think it's even on my BravoCon vlog. We were in the car, me, Brock, and Melissa, going to BravoCon, and she was just like, "I'm not singing live. Like I'm going to, like I'm going to be there. That's enough." And I was like, I just feel like it should be live. So,
I think you were onto something though, because it was so obvious that she didn't. That she was the only
because everyone
one.
else did.
Yes.
But she's still iconic, and it was so much fun.
no, it was a blast. And Brock, I was talking to Brock later or the next day, and he was saying you guys, or you especially, were surprised at how loved you were at BravoCon.
Yeah.
The energy truly was kind of spectacular in so many ways. I know Beverly Hills, that panel got really kind of the bad press of it, that
Right.
everybody rushed. But overall, it was just amazing. So much love had to have come to you that weekend.
It was such an epic event that I've never felt so much love from any other event I've done. Just the fans are so amazing. The tickets, I know, were not cheap. They were not easy to get.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that flew from all over the world to come to this event. I mean, it was iconic.
How many people?
I don't even know.
I mean, it was the Javits Center, and that's like a huge venue. I mean, I would have to imagine like 30,000
Yeah,
or
more than
plus.
20.
I mean, it was really just a very cool thing, and everybody was kind of bad mouthing it before, and then you go and you're like, oh, well, this is amazing. Like this is truly incredible. It was a mess the whole week. I mean, like sincerely horrible hangovers, a lot of work, so much excitement. My adrenaline was just pumping, but it was so awesome. There's not a really bad thing except that I lost all of my equipment at Tom Sandoval's show.
Oh, no.
No.
Somebody stole it. And that was the only bad thing. And I had an interview with like Teresa Giudice
Oh,
on
my
it
God.
and all that. And that was painful because I was like, you idiot. Like, you're at the top of the mountain.
Damn it.
You're,
Someone has the lost Teresa Giudice.
somebody is there with
Oh,
like,
my
it had my
gosh.
wallet
With
in
the
it. It had
unedited
everything.
version of that, too, by the way.
Let's offer a reward.
Oh, I did. Like, it had my wallet in it, had everything, and when I saw you that night at Schwartz's birthday party, it was like that private at the very end. I
Yeah.
had been like through. That was when I realized, and I'd been back to the performance center,
The
wherever-
Manhattan
the Manhattan
Center,
Center.
yeah.
And I was just so bummed. And Ariana and Tom were like, "No, come, drink it away. You're good." And
Yeah.
so nice. Sandoval's like, "Do you need cash? Do you need like so nice?" I'm like, "No, but yeah." And like,
Kinda. Can you call my Uber?
Was there anything revealed in that lost interview with Teresa that you would like to get
Oh,
out?
she gave it all up. She talked about Melissa. No. It was one of those really exciting things because all of a sudden, like anything, you're just in front of somebody you've been watching so long, and you think these people are like face tuned in their photos, and then you see them, and you're like, no, I guess not. Like that's
No.
exactly what she looks like.
Yeah.
And she was so, I think, also very excited to be there. But it's also, you realize you're talking to Teresa from the show. So there's only so much, and you have these restrictions. You can't bring up Louis, you can't bring up Joey and Melissa. But at the same time, it's still just exciting. And you can work around those ways. And then she saw I had brought my Cop Without a Badge book, which is the book that got thrown on the table. And I was kind of like, if it goes well, I'll pull it out and try to get a picture. And I just didn't want to, like, all of a sudden I was rushed in for the interview. So I was like, you know what, leave that alone. And she goes, is that Cop Without a Badge? Is that? And I go, oh, yeah. I go, yeah, but it's not. She goes, you want to take a picture? I'm like, yeah. Are you kidding me? And I got a picture.
She's the best.
I really was incredible.
I love your
Yeah.
Jersey accent, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm known for my voices. Yeah. I can't wait to do Vanderpump recaps again so I can do my Sandoval and Schwartz. So.
Oh my God, I'll have to start
And well, my
listening
Brock
to
is like,
my...
I'm Brock, how you doing? I can't do in
No.
Australia. I can't do any accents.
I can't do Australian really either. Mine just ends up being British.
Oh, I wish I could even do British.
I feel like Brock can barely do his Australian accent. He's been in America so long at this point. He says aluminum now. He says
Does he?
summer. His cousin called him out. He was like, yo, he goes, half the time you say summer and half the time you say summer. And I was like, wait, does he? And now all weekend, all I've noticed is him going summer. And I was like, he's like, no, I realize what it is. If I'm just like saying her name in a sentence or whatever, it's summer. But then if he drags it out like, hey, summer, it's dinner time or whatever, he gets the I was like, wow.
You
how
got to
long-
get your daughter to start making fun of his accent, too.
Oh.
Just to really teach her that. on
Yeah,
the side.
see, and I love his accent. I'm like, please don't lose it. But after being with his family because he's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so this family has always lived in New Zealand, and their accent, it is so different than the Australian one. But because he moved to Australia when he was 10, and his family's been in Australia for over 20 years now, it's a little bit of a hybrid accent. Whereas the Kiwi one, I was like, oh yeah, that is different. I can get why people get offended when they think they're from the other country because it is different.
But also, I think accents are really unfair to Americans because a guy with an accent is so much more capable of landing a woman. Like,
100%.
Just by and Brock's a good-looking dude, like huge muscles, all that stuff. But the accent
it
has to
got
put
me.
it over the top. Like you're like, that's an accent.
Yeah,
A
it
real
just makes the
accent.
legs like, doo.
By the way, I don't know if you guys can see this. Scheana just woo.
I wonder though, is it the same effect? Like, let's say you go to London.
Yeah.
Are you exotic?
No,
With your
because
American
first off, I'm
accents?
me, so I'll never be exotic. But I think we're kind of like probably like laughed at a
Like,
little bit.
Yeah,
so.
I've never heard anyone say, "Oh my gosh, he had an American."
Oh my God, he
accent."
had
I have
such-
actually.
Really?
I have people say they love the American accent, and I'm like, it just sounds normal. It doesn't sound like an accent, but everyone's native tongue is their accent. You know,
Yeah.
that they don't think sounds different, but
I have a little bit of a Midwestern twang growing up in Kansas where I'll kind of just close up on words in certain ways, and I'll get made fun of for that. But it's never like, oh, how glamorous. That's a Midwestern accent. Nice.
I get that just hanging out with Brittany. After like an hour in, I'm from Kentucky too.
Same.
She does make
Same.
you think. Those are the
Yeah.
kind of accents where you're like, oh, I can do an accent. And then
Yeah.
you start doing the Kentucky accent. Yeah.
I even
Yeah.
feel like if I am speaking to someone from Jersey too long or whatever, it's like I start to pick that up too. Like me and Priscilla, she's doing my makeup. I'm like talking. Like by the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, stop, Scheana. I'm not from New Jersey.
Well, and that's what really makes me mad is British actors. They come over and they do the American accent, but and they're stealing our roles. That White Lotus, I don't think there's an American in that cast. Like, it is all British people. That Theo James guy, I didn't realize he was like British. I don't know.
Who does he play?
I'm not good with the names.
I'm not
he's
good
like
either.
he's the jerky dude that's married to Megan Fahey, and he cheats on her while she's out.
I haven't watched it yet, but it is
Yeah.
Okay.
next on my list
It's really
to
good.
binge.
Before we started, I said, hey, have you watched White Lotus? And she said no. I was like, okay, because Ryan and I need to catch up on it because I binged 2 seasons.
And you said you
because
liked
of
the first season better than the second, right?
I did, but everyone else liked the second season.
That's
But
what I've heard. I've heard
Yeah.
the second is better.
I think the reason why is because I binged them back to back. There was no time in
See,
between.
that's what I'm planning on doing.
So I was more attached to the first one because that's
Yeah.
the one I started with. But I feel like and I don't know if this makes any sense, but I feel like if there was, a good year in between or whatever, people who were onto it in the beginning waited to watch the second one, then they would just be so excited that it was coming back. And
I thought it added
That's a
another
good point.
level, I thought it went way deeper than the first season did because the first season was so comedic in so many ways. And the second season had comedy in it, but also I think it had more grounded and it was kind of more brutal in a lot of ways. Not unlike certain seasons of Vanderpump where you're like, hey, this is a great season. How can they top it? And then a year goes
how
by
we
and you're
feel
like,
every
this
year.
is, they topped it.
let's
then-
talk about this
Wait,
season.
yeah, how was this
let's
week
take a
with the
little
trailer?
break
How was
and
this
then
week?
we'll get into it.
Sheana, what lashes are you wearing?
Yeah, well, as you just heard, everyone, it is Viva Verano. This is the moon style for those of you watching, VivaVeranoLashes.com.
They're so pretty.
Thank you.
I still need to get my pair.
Yeah,
My 3 pairs.
I need to get you some.
I love them.
Thank
They're gorgeous.
you.
And they're I have, the very basic Ardell Wispies on.
Oh my
because-
God, my best friend does
I
not. I'm
know.
getting you
Wispies?
I know.
Summer by
Yes.
Viva Verano. Okay. All right, so before that, what was that you were saying?
How was this week in regards to, there was a certain season of Vanderpump Rules, I think, that's coming out soon, and there was a trailer released.
Oh, that's right,
and-
season 10.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
I
the
heard about
one.
this.
I mean, I would want to know, as somebody that is a big fan of the show, what your reaction was, and has it been an intense week knowing that you're just a month away from all of this hoopla and circus starting back up again?
Wait, am I being interviewed on
Sorry, I'm
Scheananigans
sorry.
right now? Or are we doing so bad it's good with Ryan
I just
Bailey?
really, I wanted to, I would be, it would
I'll
be
answer,
horrible,
and then
yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to hear all of both of y'all's
Yeah.
thoughts on it as well. So I was so excited to see it. I've been dying to see this since we wrapped in September. So seeing it all just put together, I'm like, oh my God, the old show is back. Literally, it feels like there was season 7. We can just skip 8 and 9 and go straight to 10 because 8, experimented with some new players, and then 9, we had COVID restrictions, and it was just, coming out of a pandemic, it was different. So from season 10, boom, it is just, it's so good, y'all. And I know what I lived, and then I know what I just watched in that trailer, and explosive.
I mean, I was so excited. I mean, I obviously was going to love it no matter what, but I was really enthralled. The only thing, there was 2 notes, and I was like, I wanted more of you in it. I did, because I think we're going on this is the 10th season, 10 years, you've been there from the beginning. My thing was like, I kind of also wanted them to lean into the 10th year.
Yeah.
I wanted them to pull at the heartstrings almost, and pull of like, you've laughed with them, you've cried with them, but now like
Yeah.
kind of celebrating that not many reality shows last 10 seasons.
Right.
Period. And the fact that this one did, I want to lean into the nostalgia of it, but also realize like, this ain't a nostalgia season. You got insane stuff happening.
Yeah.
That Katie Schwartz, like opening it with that and then going to your wedding with that. I talk about thinking about the reality of that situation. I was just, to think about what Kate, I mean, it just brutal. And I know we're all like, yeah! But at the same time, I'm like, I hope they make it out of this season alive. I can't imagine. Like, I've been through a divorce, and it was one of the worst things that's ever happened to me, and I wasn't even on a show. Like, I can't imagine.
I know, and that's the thing where I feel like people think I just went Team Schwartz. And you're going to see, you know, a lot of this play out on the new season, but I've been in their shoes, both of their shoes, you know, a public divorce. And there's nothing easy about it. There's no handbook of how to deal with it. I mean, it is hard. And then for me, my ex was no longer on the show. But for Katie and Schwartz, you know, they both have the same friend group. They're both doing the same job. They're forced to be around each other. So add that layer, and that's just, it's a lot. And to watch it back, I mean, I empathize with both of them because it's not going to be easy to relive a lot of this stuff.
I mean, Schwartz is just so, I don't know him very well, but Schwartz is just so dang charming.
He is.
And that's really one of the, and that's so, it pops on screen. And I hope Katie, and it looks like from the trailer she does, I hope she gets a fair edit, because I know she probably had to make some really tough decisions for her own life at a certain point. And I'm curious, but to start that with, they're like, hey, we're the ideal divorce couple, and you're like, oh no,
we
like,
know where this is going.
She set the bar way too high.
Within the
with
10
that.
seconds, it was
know.
immediately ruined. And it's a brilliant trailer in so many ways.
So good.
I mean, even Peter gets a shot.
Yes,
like, finally.
bring back Peter.
Finally. I mean, this is supposedly going to be the season of Raquel, but then we see her crying in the back seat.
Oh, it is the season of Raquel.
But what does that mean?
Oh,
you know?
it's you're gonna see so much of Raquel, her growth, her personality, her just outlook on life. Like, I mean, literally, you're just
I
gonna
want her
see
to
so
start
much.
with like the tiny Raquel voice that she has, and then at the end of the season she's like, "What's up, guys? I'm Raquel. Hey, what's going on?" And then DJ James Kennedy, and then. This is where it's tricky on the trailer. Just as a fan, you're like, okay, do they mean Lala and DJ James Kennedy hooked up recently, or are they talking about the time when they hooked up seasons and seasons ago, and it was just clever editing? So that is something that I know you know the answer, but you won't be able to say. So that is the kind of stuff. And then at the end, to have that Randall moment in there, or what I assume to be, you know, Lala's like talking about not being able to believe all the things about this person. I think that's about him. And there is so much going on. I mean, on top of Vanderpump Vegas, you have Garcelle visiting. So many cool things in the span of 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's so many more things that all because
didn't even
they
make it
happened
there.
that were explosive. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't show when I yelled at the, like.
In the trailer?
In the trailer, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you'll see it all, but I'm like, wow, that's what they edited it down to, because there's so much more that happened.
Was there anything like that surprised you that you did see in the trailer that you weren't aware of?
Aware of, yes, not that it was caught on camera.
Oh.
But you do see Schwartz and Raquel make out more than once in the trailer.
Yes, that's true.
Oh,
Is there a second girl, though? Because I saw him kiss another girl in the trailer that does not look like Raquel.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I
think
just saw
that-
him kiss Raquel twice.
yeah, I'm not.
And then a third.
Wait, what?
Wait, what trailer are you watching?
What?
You might be watching a whole different
Hold
show.
on.
Yeah.
Someone, another
you're talking about-
podcaster sent me a screenshot and said, "Is this Raquel?" And I looked at it, and to be perfectly honest, it did not look like Raquel.
Interesting. I'm going to have to go watch it like 10 more times.
Raquel's gone through so much growth.
It
that-
looked, to be honest, it looked like it could have happened at Brock's Bachelor.
Wow, it's going to be an
Brock's
explosive
Bachelorette.
season. Brock's revealing secrets and.
Wait, what?
It looked okay. Schwartz.
Honestly, I
Are you
don't
sure
know.
it wasn't
Maybe.
those like puppet things
Maybe.
that they showed for a second that were like paper mache?
No, that was
Schwartz?
with
I
Raquel.
will show
Yeah.
you guys the picture if you want to see it.
I laughed out loud, and Raquel's like, I'm not turned on.
Yeah, that was funny.
But no, I can't imagine. You've got to be excited
Here, I'm
more
showing
than
her the
nervous.
picture. That does not look like
Oh,
Raquel.
that's not Raquel.
Exactly.
Oh, how did
Let
I
me show
miss
him.
this?
That's not Raquel. But look what he's wearing.
Show
but
it for the
that's at
people in the
that's at
back.
That's at a pool party. That could be. That could be
I
a
think that
relative.
might have
Exactly.
been-
That's why I think it's
No.
it's bra. It looks like he's wearing Mexico gear?
Brock got all of his groomsmen party shirts, and that looks like I think one of them. So that might have been at the bachelor party.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I was not there.
Hoping Schwartz would wear the Bubba dress again.
Oh,
No,
the moo-moo?
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious, are we going to have a 4-episode Jackson Brittany style wedding for you and Brock? I'm wondering about I wonder how long the season is.
Just kidding.
I wonder how long the season is.
I wonder that too.
I mean, 'cause Salt Lake, I thought it was going to be a full season, and then tonight's the season finale after 14 episodes. So.
Yeah, I mean, we don't find out those things now, so
yeah.
I don't
How
know,
in the dark
but,
are you? Do they keep everybody in Vanderpump Rules?
I mean, I just saw the trailer yesterday when everyone else did. So
they're not sending it to you beforehand.
I feel like honestly, in the past, not going to name any names. You can think who you want, but when they would give us the information ahead of time, it would somehow get out. Yeah. And so now we're just like in the dark.
So you don't know what made it, what didn't make it. You will be surprised when you watch it.
I mean, I know what I interview about, but you still don't know that makes it. You never know until you get the episode. So it's just like a fun surprise every week.
And you get it like a week in advance, right?
It depends. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough season for me, too, because I have to watch the show, get notes immediately, record immediately to do a recap. Yep. I mean, it's going to be a hard season for all of us.
Well, I cannot wait to come on your show.
I mean, it really will be truly a very big honor because, I mean,
it's going to be good as gold, Ryan.
What you represent to reality shows, and this show in particular, I think just can't, and I'm on your show, so this sounds very kiss-assy, but it can't be overstated, I feel, because that's why I'm like, well, show her the respect. She's put things that most normal people would not want to ever put on a show, and those are so many of the moments that we still talk about.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah, I mean,
she's like, yeah.
Well, let me ask you about Reddit. Have you ever, walked into the Reddit waters, the murky waters of Reddit? You stay away from it.
I don't either. I'll get sent
Reddit
Reddits,
river.
but no way.
Same, but followers send me screenshots of it. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't know who's reading this, but if cast is reading this, how do they manage? Which was going to be my question to you, is like, when you see such mean-spirited, evil, awful things, it's like on one hand, it's like, okay, well, they're watching,
Totally,
so
thank you.
Thank you for watching the show. But on the other hand, it's like, I personally almost feel sorry for them because why are they so wrapped up in this world of taking somebody down or hating someone that they don't know? Or is it just fun for them? Like, maybe Ryan can shed some light on this.
No, I mean, I think, listen, as somebody that is really gone after, like, Jax, my whole podcasting career, like, I really, because you get really, like, I'm not into sports, but I'm into reality series, and it's very much my sports. So when people yelling at football players and stuff like that, if I see one of the players that I don't like talking trash about another player that I love, I get really personal. And by the way, this is a mental illness for me, not that. But I get how dare you? How dare you say something about Ariana? How dare you not be friends with Tom? And I take these things personally, which is ridiculous on so many levels. But in a sense, you're like, well, yeah, also my life is sad. So but that is kind of a thing of you get so wrapped up in something and you take this personally and you're fighting for your favorites and you really think this is it's very engaging as an audience member and you kind of want that. But on the other side of that, I'll even 3 years into this, I'll make a joke or a meme that I think is just really basic meme or kind of what I think is smart or stupid funny, and then people in the comments will pile on even harder than my original joke, and I'll be like, oh, and it's a tacky joke, it's not even fun, and I'm just like, ooh, and you kind of oh man, I didn't want it to be this pile on, I just wanted to get my joke out there, and you start to realize, man, there's just a lot of anger, I think, coming off the last period of time that we were in.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
How do you handle that, though? Even if you're not seeing it on Reddit, you must see it
Well,
elsewhere.
that's the thing. I was going to say, you don't even have to go to Reddit. You can just
go
on
back
Bravo
on Twitter.
TV's post and see it.
But I see you snap back at Twitter people.
But it's I just feel good, and I feel like sometimes it's funny, my clapbacks. It's not like, I'm so hurt and I need to say this to you. There were two comments on Bravo's that I commented back to. One was these people are too old. And I was like, too old for what? To be on TV? Because the housewives are older than our entire cast. So too old for what? And then someone else was like, haven't they grown up by now? I was like, yes, we have. Tune in to season 10 to see how. Like, yeah, we have grown. We are older. We've been on TV for a fucking decade.
Well, I think that's also, I always say this on my show too, is that like, you know, when you start working at a bar, you're not like, these are going to be my friends for the rest of my life. Like, I worked at a nightclub. I didn't expect to, and I don't still hang out with my barbacks and my bartenders and stuff. Like, I think I talked to one after 15 years still. You're usually not doing a show with them for 10 seasons and not forced to be in each other's lives, but you're organically in there because of the show itself.
Yeah.
But that's not normal. You're already living a very
nothing
not normal existence.
about this life, like, at all. It's very, very different. It takes a certain type of person. You cannot be too sensitive. I mean, you really have to have thick skin because people will come from you from all sides. I mean, I see things that are said about friends of mine who aren't even on the show online just because I hang out with them.
Hanger on, or everybody
it's so
gets
crazy.
it. Yeah.
And I had told one of my friends recently, I don't want to bring any light to this, so I won't say who, but about a Reddit article that was written about her and her husband. And she got very upset. I was like, girl, you got to shake this off. Like, I'm just letting you know if someone in your inner circle is going on Reddit saying private, personal things about you, maybe send them a cease and desist. I did not say this to actually upset you, but
Man,
I'm
you
like,
are really
dude,
training for an eventual housewife position. You will eventually get to some real housewife. You really cease and desist. That's amazing. But I mean, I read negative. I'll read negative reviews about myself. I had to stop reading because I'll be like, I'll agree. I'll be like, she's right. Like,
actually,
you know, like,
she has a point.
Well, if you're kind of negative to begin with, you'll be like, well, that's the one that really gets me, the negative comment. Like, and so it really takes a very strong person to be able to keep doing what you're doing without losing your mind completely.
No, that's very true.
So the question is, did you start off with thick skin or did you attain it by doing this for years?
I think I've always had thick skin. I've always been able to shake things off really easily, and I don't know what it is. My mom had said to me many, many years ago, she's like, I swear, like, I would say you have like daddy issues, but I know you have an amazing dad and like you have a great relationship with him, but just the way I was in my early 20s, how I would just date guys and then not give a fuck about them the next week, and just I never got attached. It was like Rob was the one person in my early 20s that I had an attachment to. Every other guy was just like meh, meh, meh. And my mom's like, what, how are you? I don't know. I've always been able to put walls up, have thick skin, shake shit off, and try not to get hurt. So
I mean, I know we shouldn't sympathize with men, but that I would love to do a documentary on the men of Scheana Shay that you've left in your wake. of like, I really liked her and she never called me back. Like, really broke my heart. Yeah.
I don't know that I did that at all, really.
No, but I think you also wanted to be part of, I mean, you also were coming from an acting background and wanting to be a part of Hollywood. So I think that, you know, working in an acting studio for so long, you see so many people that have, there's an obliviousness because they want it so bad that they block out all of this negativity. I never could do that, but you would see it and you're like, man, I would love to have the obliviousness they did, because they didn't care even if they were bad, because they're like, I'll get there one day.
Totally. I mean, in the entertainment industry, I feel like that's kind of how you have to be, you know? It's brutal.
So I wonder, those people who kind of fall into reality, who did not set out to do anything in entertainment, I would assume that they have it harder. You know, they're probably more sensitive. Yeah,
I think so. You know, like Brittany never sought out to be on a reality show, and she's the type of person where it's like, she is just such a good person, has such a good heart, a good friend, a good fucking everything. And when people say negative things about her, that genuinely hurts her feelings, because she's like, but that's not me, you know? So I do think it's harder for people who didn't seek out this but kind of just fell into it. But for me, I've always wanted this shit. So I was like, come at me, bitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, you wanted the music. You were already working. I mean, you did episodes of TV. You were in a music video. All of these things. But with Brittany too, is that you can also, I would imagine, go, well, that's pretty cool. He's on a TV show. That's attractive. And then the reality of that, once you get into it, is not. It's like all that glitters isn't gold. You know. You
can't even explain what you're about to get. It's like you can try and explain it, but until you're actually in it, until you're on the show, until you see what airs, until you see what people say, it's like you never fully know what to expect. And I tried to say that with Brock, but then I was like, just wait. just wait. And he's like, oh, now I get it, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, I mean, the little that I did last season kept me up at night.
Literally.
Ryan, Scheana. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I regret everything. What am I going to do? I'm praying it doesn't air, like certain things that have happened. And I'm just like, I don't know how they do this on a regular basis, but I think we're just different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember the first time I was at a Vanderpump Rules shoot was Sandoval's birthday when he had like the long hair and he was like raising money for like Teachers Foundation or something. And it was when Jax's credit card got declined.
Yes.
And
that was the charity event for Richardson.
Yeah, and I was there and I remember not knowing, I thought it was just his birthday party. I didn't realize I was going into filming and you had to sign a waiver. And as soon as I signed that, my whole body just turned to water. I've told this story, like just like everything. Like I didn't know I had that much water in my body and I had never met Tom or Arnie on it before. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And then like Brandy and Julie from the People's Couch was there. And I knew all these people from TV. And I was like, and I went into the bathroom and was like patting myself down with paper towels. And then I was like, and then my friend was with me. He was like, look how hard this dude's sweating. And like made a like loud comment, and I went over and hid. And I remember there was like this stack of cloths or like table napkins and stuff, and I just took a big pile and just was crouching over. It was the worst experience, and I can't imagine having to do that on a daily basis, like showing up trying to be good looking and all of that. It seems horrible.
I've stopped trying. I remember in the early seasons, I always had to have at least tinted moisturizer or my eyebrows or something on, and now I'm just like, I don't care. This is the reality, you know? It is what it is. I've been doing this shit for 10 years. Like, I don't need makeup on.
I like that,
I don't
though.
always wear
I want
makeup.
to see the more
I
the
like to
reality
see
of
the
it.
variety of looks.
I'm hoping you see the lighter side of Scheana this season, because I felt like I was Bridezilla, not Bridezilla.
You were.
And
I had more of a meltdown during
she did.
wedding
no,
than she did.
You know when there's like the one bridesmaid who causes the bride stress?
Wow, we went there. Yeah.
He was like, she's going to get you back. I was late today, and Ryan was like, Scheana's going to get you back for something on this.
Yeah, no, now we know you're the
No, I guess that's
No,
me.
but you will see some of this unfortunately play out in season 10. I'm sorry, but it was something that stirred up
getting
a
very hot
massive
right now.
fight between two cast members, and it was not even Jamie's fault, but it was because of Jamie.
Well, no, it's nice. Like coming from just a fan's perspective, like you know, we speculate so much on, because nowadays, when you first started 10 years ago, like, you know, there was social media and stuff, but it's not as intense as it is now.
Yeah.
So the show has to combat its own success because everybody is speculating. Like, I mean, the weekend of your wedding, like everybody's sending me photos. Everybody's like, oh, look at this. Katie's over this hotel. Oh my God, they're at this. Oh, but and all of this stuff. And so it'll be nice to actually see what the show presents.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's as good as what the social media already was. But it's hard to, because, you know, I'm speculating on the whole season already because I have a bit of piece of information over here. I have information over here. And you're wondering, okay, does that all make it to the show? What gets cut out? So it's really exciting.
Yeah. I want to know, because we were just talking about you sweating at that event. Who is the person who you've met or interviewed or whoever you've been in the presence of that's made you like sweat the most or be the most nervous?
I was pretty nervous the first time I was on here, but I'm trying to think.
Oh.
There's Sandoval. Actually, I interviewed him last January, and I went to his place, and I'd never been to his house before. And he's so, like, I was really nervous. But Sandoval, like, his whole thing, people say it's like an act. And I'm like, no, he really, truly wants to make everything. This is the best. It's going to be the best. And, like, he wants everything to be perfect. And so I was there. Like, I had to eventually tell him I needed to leave. It was like it went 5 hours. Like, it was like, can I take a break? He's showing me all these things. I'm like on the motorcycle.
Do you want to see me play the trumpet now? Do you want to listen?
No, he did. He started the podcast.
Do you want to see my penis flute?
Saw it. He was pulling out dinosaur bones. Like, he was pulling things that don't even have affiliation with the show.
What was Ariana doing when all this
she was
was
upstairs
happening?
watching TikTok. And I was like, she came down a couple times. I was like, wow, you play his girlfriend on the show. That's like awesome. You really stay here. Like, and no, she would just sometimes yell down something, and I would yell up to her. But you know, that's the other thing that's funny. I'm like, they have a very real relationship. For even little piece in the trailer I saw where they're trying to say they have an open relationship. I'm like, every time I'm like, it seems not an open relationship. I'm curious to see what the show says about it. But they were like, Ariana was just up there watching TikTok. We were talking Love Island, and Tom was trying to make it the best interview I ever did. And so that was not nerve-wracking. But there's been so many times I'm trying to remember a specific one. I think Dorinda was. I was very nervous for that one. Anybody
from Bravo.
Yeah, anybody from Bravo, I get really amped up for. But it's usually now after 3 years, I kind of can rely a little bit. And I never was this way with acting, and I've acted since I was a kid. But
yeah, I know.
I never had the confidence I do in this, where I'm like, okay, I'll be okay. Like no matter what, I can kind of trust myself. Because you're like, oh, I know this stuff. This is the stuff. Like I could ask you a billion questions right now that I have like on file in my memory, and it would just be the tip of the iceberg. So it's really fun, and I'm so blessed to be able to do this at the level I'm doing it now.
Yeah, for sure. And I also just want to say, for a more in-depth interview on your life, I know Jamie on your podcast,
Yes.
Jamie All Over, you got into a lot of that. I know we did a little bit of your
I
background.
think she's
the
coming
last
on my
time.
show next.
Hopefully,
So, yeah.
we're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
But funny you mentioned that the day that you did the Tom and Ariana interview, because that was the day you did mine as well for Jamie All Over.
Oh yeah, I was going there
We were
later.
at Sugar
yeah.
Taco, and then we had to move to my car to finish I forget. Oh, because Sugar Taco opened. We
Yeah.
went before it opened. I was like, come to my office. And then we open, and they're playing music. I'm like, come to my other office.
That was last January. That went so quickly.
Oh my God.
It was, and that was also the same month then that I went and saw Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras at that.
Yes, at
And
the Canyon Club.
I don't know. I don't think I can tell this story on here about like what I had ingested during the show.
I mean, you can
'Cause I
talk
was
Say
about
it.
it.
Well,
Say it. Say
okay,
it.
so I was under this, like I was like trying not to drink in January, so I had
So you
these
pop a
little.
Molly.
No,
No.
I had these little. My friend had sent me like little mushroom things.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this will be chill. And I don't know why I thought that. And then all of a sudden, I just took like they were like little seeds things, and I was like popping them nervously, and because I'm nervous everywhere I go. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh,
The room is spinning.
Like,
No,
I
he
was
was
like,
scared
whoa,
when
oh.
Brock approached. He was
Oh.
freaking
Well,
out.
there was multiple times I was freaking out. So the show starts, and I'm like, fine, I'm still myself. And then all of a sudden I was like, woo. And you're seeing Sandoval be all intense, and I'm like, oh, because I'd seen it once before. And it was amazing, and this was great too. But I was like, oh, this was a bad idea. And then Ariana comes up to me and says something. I'm like I'm trying to say something that makes sense. And she leaves, and I text her immediately, go, hey, that made no sense. I'm totally on mushrooms right now. And she's like, oh, you were fine. And I'm like, really? And then you went live on Instagram with me, and I was like, no. And then I wound up behind you and Brock. And I will tell you, that was when it kind of just... It was like, whoa, what is reality? Am I on a TV show right now?
Am I the show?
Brock's sitting there going like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, God. And then DJ James Kennedy came on after that, and he like immediately takes his shirt off in the first like song. I was like, warm
He's like,
up,
"It's hot in
dude.
here."
He's like, yeah. I was like, warm up first. And I remember leaving, and I was with my roommate, and we were leaving, and Schwartz was at the door, and I go, I don't know Schwartz. I go, I'm on a lot of mushrooms right now. He goes, oh, I've been there, man.
He's like, I feel you, bro.
He goes, yeah, man, I've been there.
That is hilarious.
But that's me. I'll do really dumb things like thinking logistically, oh, that works. That'll put you at ease. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why would I ever think mushrooms would put me at ease? I'm not that guy.
I've been there.
Yeah, Jamie's done it as well.
In the wrong places. At Crossed Music Festival, playing music that I cannot, house and techno. I hate it. So I'm like, oh, I'll do mushrooms, then I'll like it. Complete opposite effect. I'm like, I need to get out of here right now.
Oh, it was really one of the worst nights of my life. And I was trying to stay, like I had a friend there. And I couldn't even make sentences by the end of the night. And it was so, I was like, you idiot. Like you did it again. And that's as you get older, you're like doing the same shit. Like you're like, oh my God, you keep making the same idiotic choices.
So Ryan, I want to know, who is your biggest Bravo crush? If you can make out with anyone.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is, I
and
always
then
have
we
bad
gotta
answers.
do.
Well, okay. Well, listen, I have a bit on my show about loving Sutton Strack from Beverly Hills, but that's
I
more
love
of
her.
a joke. I love her too. I mean, I think I've really. Oh, this was a great at BravoCon. So I've done Sutton bits the whole season of Beverly Hills, and I have this act. I'm like, I'll say, my name is Sutton. I'm from the South, and I do this whole thing, and I think it's gotten back to her, and she doesn't like it, but I love her. I think she's amazing, very brave, stuck up to Erica. And I got her listener bought me something at her booth in BravoCon so I could meet her. And so I'm there, and I didn't get an interview, but immediately they're just like sweat. I'm in a full suit because I had worked for DirecTV in the morning, and I was like, just a full sweat all over the suit. Like listeners would come up and touch my back, and they'd be like, ooh. And I was like, I tell you, I'm like a sweater. And so I'm like going up there, and like, I'm like, she's like, hey, and I'm like, I'm Ryan from So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bass. She goes, uh-huh. And I'm like, either she just doesn't know it at all, which is possible, but there's been like trying to get her on the show and stuff. So, and then I was like, okay. And I just, the sweat, and there's a picture of me, my eyes are fully closed in the picture, like, and it's just sweat, it was the grossest thing. And I felt like even no matter how successful any of this gets, I will always be the guy that creepily sweats over Bravo celebrities, and you can't shake that. Like, I'll never be the cool guy. I'm trying to find this picture for you.
Oh, we think you're cool.
Did you like divert the question though? Like,
no, there's not. I mean, because I'm trying to think.
You can't say there's no
one. No. I'm trying to think who I really found, because like, no, I got this. Yeah, people are gonna hate this. At a time, I thought Stassi was really attractive.
I don't disagree.
No, I thought
Hey.
but there was a time like
Nima had a crush on Stassi, and when Shervin tried to set up me and Nima was like, not Scheana, Stassi.
No, listen,
So it's kind of like
there's Scheana, like there's no way I could, because you're too you would crush me. Like it would, like you're too.
And Stassi wouldn't.
No,
with
no,
her words.
I
Look,
don't know, for
she's
some
beautiful,
reason-
so
No, she
I
is,
get
but
it.
I think Kyle Richards is insanely attractive.
Yeah, I love her.
I used to have a real big crush on Leah McSweeney from Real Housewives of New York. A lot of people cannot stand her, but that was like the first season when she first came on Real Housewives of New York. I was like, wow. And I would do these elaborate fantasy sequences on the show where I was dating. It was just real creepy stuff. And no, I mean, they're all beautiful women, but at the same time, now that I'm so in this, it kind of takes away the attraction completely, because I don't think you could ever date somebody. It would be like, I see what you guys go through. It would be way too intense.
It's a lot.
I don't really like how Brock does it, how any of the girlfriends and boyfriends of the cast that aren't fully on the show do it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be a great house husband. Let's go for Sutton.
Yeah. No, I think I've ruined that. I got to show you the picture before we leave.
Okay, so hypothetical ultimate girls trip. If you could invite 5 Bravo celebrities, men or women, but I mean, I guess it's ultimate girls trip, but just like ultimate trip. Who? Oh my God, this photo.
Yeah.
Why do you look like you're from like the 1920s?
Well, I was trying
or
the mustache thing, and that was like, everybody kept calling me motorcycle cop, and so now I'm back to the beard. Sorry, anyway. Oh my God.
Okay, so like ultimate girls trip or like a winter house or whatever, like if you had, say, 5 to 7 Bravo celebrities that you could put together on a show, who would it be?
Okay, so this is where I have a real bone to pick with Bravo, because I love what they're doing with Ultimate Girls Trip and stuff like that, but they need to branch it out, like Winter House and Summer House. But Winter House and Summer House finally did Schwartz and Sandoval, but that's ridiculous. We need, like, I need you in there, I need Ariana in there, like, start, like, expanding the universe. So if I were to do that, I would do you, but, you know, I don't, like, I really would do you, but I would do you, unfortunately, without
Brock. I got that.
And I like Brock a lot, but I want to see you by yourself and see what happens outside
now.
of Vanderpump. Yeah, because like take away the comfort, take away that, like, and then you would do that, and then a mixture of housewives where
Brandy. You got to put Brandy
well,
in there. If Scheana's in there.
ooh, that would be
Spicy.
That would be amazing, but it seems like they're on the men, so
You never
You
know.
never know. You get a couple drinks in that one, you don't know.
well, and then then you would have. I think Rinna would actually be great on one of the Ultimate Girls Trip shows.
Oh, for sure.
She would be great, and not even my favorite at all, but I think she would be great on one of those Ultimate Girls Trip. I would also want to see men and women on one of these Ultimate shows, like kind of like they do with Winter House, but with the heavy hitters.
Right.
You know? And I will say this is going to, I'll get really probably a lot of negativity for this. I would love a special guest appearance on one of these of Jack's. I would like him to be a bartender for one of these things, or find an organic way to bring him back just to see. I'm just curious how he would even handle it at this point. That's a curiosity of mine, but it seems like he is very anti all of this. So, but I would be still curious just from that a viewer's perspective. But I
would watch that show.
I do need more mixing of the cast and with Housewives and you guys.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a huge. I love Winter House. I was so awesome to have Schwartz and Sandoval, but we need more. Like I need Raquel to go there. Then I need because
Raquel.
I mean Raquel. I mean if she's not with somebody yet, I mean
Why does Luke get
I love Luke.
I see. I do too. Luke has been on the show a
I have
bunch.
such a soft spot for him. I just adore him.
He seems like just a really good
genuine.
Dude. He's a really good-looking dude, so he's not used to trying with girls and stuff like that, and I think that has gotten him into trouble in the past because girls usually just throw themselves at him, and he made some weird decisions with like Hannah during Summer House, and he's
And then did you see Winter House this season?
Of course, yeah, with Jessica. And like, imagine being that good looking and somebody's
bad for him though, because I'm like, she literally said I was into you,
but
and gives him signals, but then is like, no, I want to take it slow, but then goes and fucks the other guy in the house like 2 nights later, and you're like,
falls in love with him in the same like.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I feel like we're missing something there, to be honest. I feel like something was edited out.
I feel like we were missing a lot, but Luke. I mean, I think as a guy, we've all been there in a way of like, it's like it's easy. This is handed to you, and you still find a way to blow it. You're like, oh, and that's got to be insane for him being like, I'm like a model, like I'm a male model. And I'm like nice. Everybody says I'm good at sports, all this stuff. And I can't say the right words. I don't know when it's appropriate to touch somebody in a hot tub. And then you see your friends doing it. Like that Corey guy was smooth as hell.
That's the thing. This poor girl, I think she was put in such an uncomfortable position, but she kind of led him to think she was interested, but then she wasn't, but she didn't want to speak up because he was so nice. And so it was just like, I really felt for both of them because I'm like, oh my God, she's so uncomfortable, but oh my God, he has no clue. And just watching it, you're just like, ugh.
I love that Andy had her on Watch What Happens Live I think the night of the finale or after that to kind of like, because it was
see, I didn't see that.
Well, it gave her a chance to be like, yeah, I see it now too. And I was like, he's like, yeah, they do this with The Bachelor too, where they put you in a house. He gave her kind of an out because we were all like, holy crap. Like it was, she was like talking about like, oh, let's go have sex now and let's do this and let's watch porn together and like do everything that could get this guy in her bed just because she loved him so much. And really went, and then it was good that I saw that because if I hadn't have seen that, I would have been like, whoa. And she already has a new dude. Like somebody sent me a TikTok of her and her dude. Yeah.
Interesting. I wondered what was going on with them.
No, but he does seem like a model.
I just recently finally finished Winter House. I was late to it. I waited until it was all available on Peacock, and then I just binged all of it recently.
Well, I mean, all of those are character archetypes that I think were made popular during Vanderpump Rules. I mean, like we compare like, like Craig's like really like on his pillow empire, and he's kind of like, he's paying Kyle and Amanda $500 for their room.
I love that.
Those are those moments that are like, oh, that's historic, but at the same time, you're like, oh, this isn't going to go good for you fan-wise for a second. And then Paige, which is hysterical if you watch Summer House, because Paige has always had things to say about other people's relationship, and now all of a sudden she's potentially in a troubled one or somebody that causes trouble.
No, but it's like now she can relate to Amanda. Now
in
Paige has her own Kyle in a different way.
Yeah.
So, and Amanda, I think, even said that in one of her interviews. She's like, now Paige kind of understands, how you could love this person so much, but then they just do dumb shit, but it's like you love this person so much. And
Paige isn't an idiot, so you see her going like, oh man, the optics of this are insane.
Her interview bites were amazing because you see in scene, she's like, I'm not going to say anything to his face, but then she's saying it all in her interviews. I love her.
I always say that that's somebody giving good talking head. Like she gives good, like that is like, she is really kind of made for those moments. You're great at those moments. Lala's great at those moments. Where you say the perfect thing in that moment, and you put your spin and your personality on it. And I love talking heads.
Yeah,
I hear that some people were fed jokes and they're not as funny as they appear to be. Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think you can usually tell when it's not organic to the person. I thought Erica Jane suffered from that a lot a couple seasons ago. I felt like Mikey was writing them or something because she had she had props. She's like, what's going on? And I was like, this doesn't even seem real anymore.
Yeah.
And the audiences are so sophisticated these days. They can usually, feel bullshit really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what did you think of the cast photos? Switching gears a bit.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
Yeah,
okay.
I saw them.
You guys are really tan.
I want to know who the fuck edited them.
I'm missing
an eyebrow.
Who are those people in the photo is what I want to know.
Wait, so
the AI versions of us.
If I look at it without my glasses or anything, I'm like, okay, cool, they're all there. And then you start it made me feel like I was stoned.
Don't
Like you
zoom
zoom
in.
in, and I was like, wait, every person had something off. Like even like, and Raquel, I was like, what? Like
I
they made
know.
her,
She was
like-
missing a boob.
It's like, it was so weird because from afar you're like, okay, everybody's there, and then you zoom in, and it's like the only one that I think kind of actually. I think Sandoval came off looking really good in that cast photo.
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else in the cast
James's
photo.
looked good too. It just looked exactly like that AI app that everyone was doing last year.
But I just-
Everyone looked AI.
Everyone.
Yeah.
But like weird.
And then, because I was like, oh, this obviously isn't real. And then I think somebody, maybe you or Sandoval, posted the, and I was like, oh, you guys actually posed for this. Like, I saw
Yeah,
the
all of
shoot,
us together.
And I was like, oh, so this is real.
Yeah,
This is
because
a
it
real
looked like they
photo.
were like all separate and then just placed in there because it didn't even
That's
seem
what
like
we've
they were
done in the past.
interacting
Maybe
with
they
each
were
other.
rushed. Maybe they were.
I think.
Have
this
the
is my-
opening credits been shot? The
I
Yeah.
have a theory.
They're different this year.
They brought back Brie, and she's now the photo editor.
Brie Dellinger.
oh, jeez.
It's the only explanation.
Yeah. Wow.
I guess there's a hashtag justice for Scheana's eyebrow going around on Instagram right now.
No, it was just, it really is weird. It was one of those things. I was like, oh my God, it made me feel stoned because I was like looking in. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
was something weird. about
Ariana's
it.
nose is completely someone else's nose. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even her nose.
No, everyone, it looks weird. I don't know whose call that was, and they were like, yes, Scheana only needs 1.5 eyebrows. Let's put this photo out
So when
there.
you saw it, what
Do you
was
lose
your...
an eyebrow this season? Is that part of the?
No, at first when I saw it, I was like, this is a weird, like, 2012 Instagram filter on this photo that was unnecessary. I didn't even notice the eyebrow until my sister saw a comment that said, what happened to Scheana's eyebrow? And then she sent it to me, and I was like, wait, what did happen to my eyebrow? And so I
You-
looked
you
back
sent
at
off an
photos
email
from
to
that
Evolution,
day.
what
I'm
happened
like,
to
did
my
I maybe
eyebrow?
like wipe my face right before that photo or something? And I looked back at photos from that exact moment, and the eyebrow was there, people.
I love it, but didn't you then stop to look at everybody else and go, oh,
Yeah.
everybody's kind of
Then I
messed
really
with.
did, yeah. Because at first I saw Katie's photo and I was like, it looks a little filtered. And then I'm scrolling and I was like, I think then it was like maybe Sandoval. I was like, okay, that's good. And then James, I'm like, little AI. But then as I'm looking, I was like, wait, hold on. Then I went back to Katie's and I was like, no, we all look weird.
But I will say James always does look AI in real
He
life
does,
too.
that's
like
the
he
thing.
really does look like just
Kind of like
very
a wax figure.
Well, there's I think
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. like, I
Madame
don't-
Tussauds. Tussauds, whatever.
So did you like shoot off any like rage, were you like that after you saw
I
it?
did send one text and I got a response of, oh my God, I knew they were bad, but not that bad. Let me see what I can do.
I would love if there's like a whole new thing that comes out next week and they get it wrong again potentially. Or everybody's
The other eyebrow
albino. What's
missing.
going on? Like nobody's tanning this. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just very obvious. Like
That's the brutal thing is that you think at a, on a reality show of this stature and size, you're like, oh, well, this is like the best of everything is going to be thrown at this. And then you're like, it has to be wild sometimes. And I don't want to, because I'm sure people worked hard on that, but you like, oh, it is wild to look at that and go like, well, what were they trying to achieve?
yeah.
You know?
I know. My sister said she felt like they were trying to do some sort of like old Hollywood filter tone or whatever. I'm like, but why did they take off my eyebrow?
Yeah, like how did that even happen?
I think it was just maybe a little smoothing and it was just like, oops.
I hope in the updated one you have big Groucho Marx eyebrows. And you're like, here's your eyebrows,
justice
Scheana.
for your eyebrows, Scheana. You asked, we
You want your eyebrow?
delivered.
I'll give you an eyebrow.
So some new faces, some missing faces from the cast photo. Anything that surprised you? Like, do they tell you in advance? Well, I guess for the group, you know who's in there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it was surprising to see Christina Kelly. So I guess she's more of like
Yeah,
a
she's back.
main back person now, or what?
I mean, she's definitely like a friend in the season for sure. I didn't film much with her until like later on. So I'm not sure really how involved she is in the beginning part of the season.
But if I was a producer, I would say you need other people for Katie. You need
yeah.
people for Katie because some natural friends of hers are no longer participating or on the show. So you need people. I always thought that with Lindsay Hubbard and Danielle. before I've grown to really love Danielle, but I felt like there was one season where they just kept Danielle because Lindsay needed a really good friend in Summer House. And I thought, oh, well, Christina Kelly, that might be, or what I would assume would be one of Katie's good friends in scenes.
Yeah.
So I know previously, I mean, I don't really know much about her, but I have seen clips of her really trashing like your last wedding. And so I'm curious.
Wow, really, Dick? Wow, you really, wow.
The
Somebody's
dress,
bringing it. Yeah.
everything. So I'm just wondering, from then till now, she was not invited to your wedding, but she was in Mexico. I'm wondering, like, what was the evolution of you and her up until now? Are you guys on good terms? Because I hear that you're doing a pop-up, watch party thing.
Jamie, you're going to have to tune into season 10 to fully find that out.
What a tease.
However, on the flip side, it's no secret that I comment on all of her photos. I am so happy for her and this pregnancy.
Yeah, that's
she
awesome.
absolutely deserves this. I could not be more happy. I hope to have play dates in the future. But we are also doing a pop-up at Shopify downtown February 22nd to the 26th. Myself, Lala, and Christina Kelly, we're going to be selling all of our products.
Oh,
Viva
wow.
Verano, Give Them All a Baby, Christina Kelly's lip balm. She has so many things. So that's exciting. So yeah, we're doing that together. But the season's not all sunshine and rainbows. So you'll see
the politics of these shows. I asked Sandoval that a year ago. I said, man, like, how's your stomach? Like, and he's like, oh, get the worst stomach pains every season. And I'm like, it just must, your nervous system has to just be beaten to a pulp at this point. You have to,
I black out after scenes. I emotionally black out. I'll come home and my mom's like, so how was it? I'm like, I don't remember. She's like, what do you mean you don't remember? You didn't even drink tonight. I'm like, I don't know. I blacked out. Like after the reunions, I black out. I can't answer a question of what happened because I'm like, I don't remember. It's just, I don't know, a defense mechanism, a fight or flight sort of thing, but my brain just sometimes is like, you filmed it, you did it, just block it out, go home and be happy with your baby.
Did you kill somebody this season? I feel like you're like, I blacked out. I woke up, blood on my hands. I have no clue, Mom. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Flight attendant. No. But yeah, I know a lot of us have these like emotional blackouts where it's so intense in the moment. And then after you're just like, ugh. Okay, on to the next thing, but then you have to relive it, and then.
Well, because in real life, you try to avoid these situations and these fights as much. Like,
yeah,
I'll go years
you just
without.
talk behind each other's backs.
Yes, and then but these shows like force these things of like you wouldn't actually do this because human behavior would just you run from it, you hide from it, and that's usually how I'll deal with things, but you have to like force to fight.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
people
crazy.
are different. Some actually do fight. Some flight and some sweat.
Yeah, and you are going to see all of this, the fighting, the flighting, the sweating, the tears, maybe some blood, I don't know, but you're going to see it all on season 10, Vanderpump Rules, February 8th. So excited, 9 p.m. We are now on Wednesdays, it's hump day, but I feel like we could keep this conversation going forever, so we'll continue the conversation on your podcast soon. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
It's called So Bad It's Good, you guys. It's long form, but I do shows every day, interviews, recaps, a lot of pop culture too, not just reality shows. Like yesterday we did Golden Globes. I have Kirby Johnson, who I love, on tomorrow, does makeup and has an amazing podcast. But I get to talk to just a lot of amazing reality stars, and it's kind of everything. So it's a mix, but give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. And Jamie?
You could find me at Jamie All Over.
Yes.
Wherever you stream podcasts. Or I recently changed my Instagram name.
Wait, you did?
Yes, I no longer have a number.
Oh.
I know you hate numbers.
Yeah. Just in the Instagram handle.
It is now Jamie Lynne All Over.
I love that. Although I also love Ariana Maddox 252525, so numbers aren't always bad. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, Happy New Year. Get some Viva Verano lashes, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.